after hopping in the truck, you can see this is my current setup. These are the gauges that came with the truck. Even though mine's an LT, it's still, to me, these gauge numbers and fonts, they always look like a work truck to me. So I wanted to change them. And what I'm going to change them to are these LTZ, or even the Tahoe Avalanche all had this style gauge face. And what I did is I just went to the junkyard and I snagged this out of a LTZ Silverado. And they're really easy to come apart, and I'll show you how to do that here in a second. But you can see the difference. You know, you've got the 10, 20, 30, 40 instead of the 20, 40, 50s in here somewhere, 80. Yeah, it's just, I don't like them. But I want to change a couple of things while I'm in here, and now would be a good time to clean everything up. So once you get it apart, it's super easy, but let's get started. All right, to get started on this quick little fix, the only things you really need is a uh, 1/4 inch drive socket wrench. This is a number 7, 7mm socket. Trim panel tool, you can use a flathead if you need to. And of course the gauge face itself. So let's get started. All right, now getting started, we are going to first pull this off. You can see I already started it here. And this applies for anything, if you're going to do anything with the gauges. If you're going to swap out gauge faces, needles, the cluster itself, all this applies to the same. So first we're going to just kind of slowly pop these off here. There we go. You can see I've got access to that 7mm there. And then we're going to do the same thing to the other side over here. Just kind of pry it. There's going to be a couple of 7mm screws under here that I've already taken out. And then this just easily pops right off. Now you have full access to all this. And we can just slowly work your way. And I like to do this in a little bit of a warmer day. It kind of keeps the plastic pliable. And you know, if you do this in the winter, you want to try and heat this up a little bit because these will crack if you really brief on them. But they come out real easy. So I'm going to continue getting this out, and we'll move on. All right, now that we've got this off, a little tip here. This one in this back corner where that clip is, you want to be super careful with that because it's a larger clip, so it doesn't just snap right out. You have to kind of wiggle it out because if you're not too careful, it will probably crack along here. So you don't want to do that. So moving forward, you're going to see these couple of 7mm up on top here, and in the back. I don't think there's any down on the bottom here. Oh, there is. I'm sorry. There's a couple back in these corners here, and I'll show you that in just one second. Once you get these screws out here, you can see it's getting a little bit loose. Now in this back corner here, you can see where it snapped in there, and then from there you can take your little trim tool and you can kind of reach in there and just kind of snag that out. See, it comes right out. Now you can take the bezel piece out and kind of set it aside here. And like I said, now is a good time to clean. This is a relatively clean truck, and you can see underneath it's kind of dirty and dusty. So now is a good time to do that. Now you're going to have access to these 4 bolts in each corner. We're going to get that out, and this whole piece will pop right off. And here's another quick tip. When you first shut your truck off, you'll see all the needles are right at 0, right? Right at the final point. Well, now you can see now that the computer has shut off that they all go a little bit lower. So you want to make sure and put these needles back exactly where they are right now without the computer telling it to sit at 0. So the easiest way to do that is just get a quick picture of it and just put them back in the same spot. And from here, you'll probably have to drop it down into first gear there so you can kind of get this thing out a little bit. What you're going to see in the back here, there is a couple clips you just got to pull out. This guy right here. See, here's the clip. It's this little push clip there. And from there, this guy should slide right out. There. You can see now is a good time to, like I said with that piece there, you can also do the cleaning of the lenses and stuff. This has got a lot of stuff on it that from over the years. but we'll make it crystal clear. We'll take it inside and we'll get the gauges swapped out. All right, now that we're back in the office, where it's much cooler in here and not 800 degrees, you're going to see there's a backing plate here. Now, you don't have to worry about taking this off. You can leave all of these alone. What you do need is these little clips here on the end, like this one here. Those will pop off. This is kind of hard to do one-handed, so bear with me here. There we go. And from there, we can flip this thing over. Causing any issues. There we go. That will make it so we can pull this glass off. Now we got all those clips out. There we go. And now from here we have access to the gauge face, which just sits on there, and all of the needles. So again, you want to pay attention to where the needles are. And actually, after I unplugged it, you will see that they actually came up to their 0 mark. So that's where we're going to put them back on when we put these needles back on. So let's pop these off. I'm going to use that same trim tool. This little guy here works really, really good. And just kind of sneak him underneath it here. And they pop right off. So we're going to do that with the rest of these and get this gauge face off. There. Now once you have the glass off, you can slowly take off the original face. And you're going to see in the corners there's going to be these little tabs, and you just kind of gently pull it out and kind of pull them off that, just like that. And then you can pull that out. And now would be a good time to clean, or if you want to replace the LEDs, if you wanted to do that, you can do that at this stage, but I didn't because it works, so I'm just going to leave it alone. So then the new one just kind of lays in place just like the old factory one did, and just pop it back into place, and that's basically all you can do, or all you have to do. And you want to clean the face off before you put the glass back on. Make sure there's no dust or debris or anything like that. Otherwise, it's trapped in there and it will bug you. Putting the needles back on, you just want to slowly put them over the peg that sticks out of the gauge. These little plastic needles, you got to be kind of be a little careful because you have to put moderate force to kind of put them back on the peg, and you don't want to snap them. But basically, just reversing the process of pulling them off and setting them, mostly where they were when you pulled them off, already looks better. Okay, now, and depending on what glass you have, you may not have this problem, but I did. So you will see that there are 2 pegs in the corners here. Well, this one, of course, is the factory. It's farther away. And that is to line up with those. So you can do 2 things. You can either punch holes in this, or you can file this down. And because there are other pegs that hold everything together, I chose to these will just snap right off. You just put a little pressure on it, it'll come right off. Then you don't have to worry about it. And from here, oops, let's move this out of the way here. This will, line the tripometer button there. That will go on. And now it's complete. Now we can get it back in the truck, and I'll show you the final results.
And then this is the final result. This is what it looks like when it's all back together. And you can just tell that it looks so much better. It looks a little bit classier. When the vehicle is running, you want to make sure that all your needles and stuff are working and moving the way they should. But just looking at the gauges and stuff, I mean, you're always looking at these things, so you might as well make them look good, especially at night. The way the LEDs shine through this style cluster, I like it a lot better. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was a little bit educational for you. Even if you don't put this particular gauge setup in, you can put in they have different aftermarket ones. So at least shows you how to do it. So I appreciate you guys watching as always, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Take care, everybody.